All right, everybody. Thank you for coming back to this show. My name is Jared. I am the host here at If You Give a Dad a Podcast, and I am very excited to have my guest on tonight. He's a returning guest, actually. I had him on, it was a little bit over a year ago, I believe, is when he was on here, but he's a comic writer and a novelist, and he has written all kinds of really cool stuff, when it comes to uh, comic books and even other types of stories. He has a movie. And he's worked with Deadpool and Uncanny X-Men and X-Men Blue. And then he has some of his own stuff like Harrow County and The Sixth Gun. And I am talking to Cullen Bunn. Man, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good, I'm actually excited that it's not hot because as you can see, I'm doing this in my garage. So I've been dying for the last, month and a half with these temperatures that we've been getting.
I
So
did not realize it was your garage until you pointed it out just now.
yeah,
You got a fancy garage set up there.
my wife is really cool. So, she's let me buy a lot of really cool stuff. And then I've got friends that send me different toys, but I just actually updated this display back here behind me. It used to be much smaller. So it's I got a TV on the other side, with a bunch of old video game consoles and uh, I come out here and play when it's not too hot. I got the newer stuff inside, so like my
Nice.
PS5 and all that stuff. But it's a fun spot. My kids like to come out here and hang out too, so it's yeah, I'm loving it.
That's awesome.
So I mean, everybody who has heard you on the show knows that me and you met at ArtCon. This is actually the first year I went was when I met you, and I'm actually maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but they are having me come back. I'm going to be the moderator for the second year in a row this year for some of the panels. I got to do one with Andy Park and
Nice.
Kevin Mellon and Jeremy Hahn this past year, and then they had um, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but he was in Stargate. SG1 was one of the main guys. I got to do his panel too, so that was really cool. But a lot's changed. You've done a lot of stuff. Since the last time we talked. You've joined some things, and so tonight we're just gonna kind of chat and see where it goes.
Sounds good.
So the last time we talked, there was one thing that you said because I asked you what your favorite franchise was when it
Uh-oh.
comes to movies, and you told me you said, "Now I'm gonna have to go watch one of these," and you said that Phantasm was your favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So after we talked, I actually went and watched the first Phantasm movie too.
Hmm.
So
And you
um,
thought, what is Cullen talking about? This is just some sort of weirdo fever dream of a movie.
I enjoyed it. It was very. I will say it was very weird, but I enjoyed watching it. It's interesting for sure.
It's a good movie. I like it. I'll tell you the truth. You should watch Phantasm 2 because I think that was the first of the Phantasm movies I watched when I was
Okay.
younger.
Okay.
And then I went back and and saw the first one. Phantasm 2's a much different movie than the
Okay.
first movie. And in a lot of ways, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the series. Just like if you think of Nightmare on Elm Street, they were
Uh-huh.
very different movies until the Dream Warriors came out, and then that kind of set the tone for the rest of the series. That's kind of what Phantasm 2 did for the Phantasm movies.
Okay. Okay. I haven't watched that one, so I will have to go back and check that one out. Like I said, it's different than anything else that I've watched when it comes to horror, and the main guy on there is just so creepy.
Yeah, he was a very creepy horror movie villain.
Yeah, yeah. You've got a few new things. One is you're doing pretty a video podcast or a video interview style show. I love the branding on that. That cracked me up when I first saw that, and that's colonoscopy. And
Yeah.
What
I
made you decide to come up with that name, and how did this come about?
Well, it all started. This is something that a little over a year ago, I met with a bunch of other comic creators, and we all had like a 3 or 4 day meeting
Yeah,
about branding and what we could do to, to expand our brand
right.
and do some different marketing. And during that meetings, it was suggested that I do something like this, and I was uncomfortable with the idea, so I didn't.
All
And then
right.
time passes, and I was talking with this new publisher I'm working with, Ignition Press, and they really
Hmm.
wanted me to do some to take some branding activities on. And one of the ideas we discussed was this, was doing a video podcast, video series,
Yeah,
and what I would do with something like that.
yeah.
And there's a lot of back and forth, and at the end of the day I just decided, I love the horror genre,
Hmm.
and I don't want to get too serious about it, though. I don't want to
Right,
get too academic, so to speak. I'd rather talk about things I love and
right.
just get excited about the things that are cool.
Yeah,
um so I came up with this idea that I'd just talk to different horror creators and tastemakers, and just talk about the things we love. Every episode we talk about a different horrific topic.
yeah, yeah.
And
I,
because I didn't want it to take itself too seriously, I thought, why not choose the classiest name ever, the colonoscopy, and we call it a deep dive, a deep exploration into the horror genre. So I just wanted it to be fun, and it's we've got 2 episodes out right now on YouTube,
yeah,
and I filmed, I don't know how many more episodes, a bunch more that'll be coming out soon.
I got you.
So and it's just been a lot of fun. I just enjoy um talking about the things I love.
Right, right. Well, I got to watch the first episode today, and I love you just jump right into it, and it's just kind of like what we're doing here, just a conversation,
Yeah.
and it was very relaxed, and you're just talking about what the passion that you have there for this, and I really like that. You said you've recorded a couple of these. Do you just like take a day and just like record a bunch of different ones, or how's that been
Um,
working?
so I record the interviews at different times. It depends on, and I don't even call them interviews. It's just I record the guest segments
Yeah,
at different times, just based on the schedules uh that my guests have.
right.
And then yeah, I do record the bumper stuff. I just like this first series of bumpers. I just went out to this old creepy warehouse.
Yeah.
Um, and talk about hot, your garage. It was sweltering hot in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But and just I just recorded a bunch of these, a bunch of the bumper stuff around the guest spots all at once.
Okay.
And pretty soon I'll have to record another bunch of those.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just it's all mixed in through the week. I try to schedule. I try so hard. I say to myself, oh, Thursdays,
Yeah.
that's my media day. That's the day I worry about social media and recording stuff for videos and all that. It never works out. I never have a day I can just focus on that one thing.
Right.
So
Uh,
maybe one day. Maybe one day.
I will say after I've been doing this for 3 years and still trying to get that schedule down pat, it still gets away from me. I know that I'm going to record usually with somebody on a Monday or a Tuesday night, and that's usually my recording day. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way, so you got to do it other times too. Life happens. But
Yeah.
it's I enjoy this enough to where I look forward to these every week, when I'm
Well, I
talking
think
to my guests.
once you build it into a habit and you
Yeah,
get to doing it, you start kind of craving it. And if it's something
right,
if you genuinely enjoy doing it,
right.
it's something you start missing. If you
Yeah,
miss that, you miss a week or whatever, you
yeah,
you start feeling like something's not quite right.
absolutely. During the last part of last year, I took a hiatus just for over Christmas break and stuff. And I felt like I was. like missing something this whole time. Like it was almost like a panic almost because I had gotten so used to doing one every week. And then, Thanksgiving hit, and then the week after that, I didn't record anymore until like the first week of January. And I'm just like, what do I do? So I produced a bunch of short form content and put it out there on
Yeah,
YouTube during that time because I had to do something. I couldn't just sit there and not. So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's weird how those things get under your skin. Like I do a newsletter
yeah,
uh almost every week.
right,
I missed one last week because life gets in the way, as you said,
right.
and I felt really weird that I
Yeah.
missed it because I genuinely enjoy putting the newsletter out. So it made me feel odd that I skipped a week.
Yeah, I'm pretty used to seeing yours pop up. I know it's on Monday morning is usually when I see it,
Yeah.
before I get to work. And yeah, so that's become part of my routine as well as reading your newsletter every
Well, I
week.
do it
So
on Mondays because I remember when I had a real job. I would Mondays were the worst, but if I had something to just like I wanted it to be something that you can get there, you're like, okay, I can take 5 minutes and read
yeah,
this letter, and it's not as maybe it makes the Monday a little better.
right. Yeah. Hey, that makes sense to me. So you brought something up there that I think is kind of funny. You said that you actually had an old warehouse that you were going to record all of this and stuff. And I know that Jeremy last week on the show said the same thing. He has a warehouse in the Joplin area that he's actually made like a little office space to record some of
Yes.
the snippets and stuff from his show as well. So those old warehouses, those old hot buildings.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy's got a really cool setup where he is. This was not, I don't, this isn't my warehouse that I was filming in.
Yeah.
Uh, but it was, it's out in the middle of downtown area or just off downtown area.
Yeah.
And I remember we were standing outside for a little bit. It was actually kind of cool outside and hot as Hades inside.
Yeah.
But we were standing outside for a little bit, and I look across down the way, across the highway, and I see this guy with a dog, and he's shirtless. This shirtless guy comes running up to us. He's got his dog with him, and he says, hey, you guys got any bread?" I
Oh
was
my
like, "Oh
gosh.
man, I'm sorry, I don't have anything." And he goes, "All right," and he runs off. And he starts knocking on doors in because this warehouse is right in the middle of this little neighborhood area. He
Yeah.
starts knocking on doors, and I said to my friend, I said, what is he knocking on doors for?" And my friend says, "Well, he's probably looking for bread." And I was like, "Man, come on." He said bread. He meant he was looking for money.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he says, my buddy goes, "Cullen, look at what he's holding." And I turn, I look, and he is holding the dog's leash in one hand, and he had like a pound of bologna in his other hand, just loose bologna, not in a wrapper, not in a bag, just a pound of bologna. And I was like, he was literally
Looking
looking
for
for
bread.
bread.
Wow.
Yes.
So you brought up Ignition Press a minute ago, and this has been a subject that has transferred over from last week and everything because of who I had on the show. And he actually told me, Jeremy told me that whenever this was a thing that he knew that was going to happen, you were one of the first people that he called, to get on board with this. What was that like getting that started? Because everybody seems very excited about this, about Ignition Press.
Yeah, no, it's a great company.
Hmm.
Everything they're doing right now is uh I mean, this may be a little facetious, but or sound a little facetious. Everything they're doing is the what should be the right way of doing things in comics.
Right.
Um, and it's some of that is just minimal stuff that they're doing that any company could be doing,
Yeah.
but they don't.
Yeah.
And then some of it's much bigger. They're doing a lot of really um, the way they're handling things is some of it's really big, and then
Yeah.
some of it's just a matter of treating creators with a little bit of common decency, which also shouldn't be a big deal, but you'd be surprised uh how rare that genuinely is.
Right.
so yeah, they're a great company to work with. When I got those first calls from Jeremy and some of the people he was working with, uh, admittedly, I was a little skeptical. I was like, all right, sure, you're gonna pull this off. You're gonna make that happen. Okay, call me when it happens.
Yeah,
And time passed, months passed, and I kept hearing more about what they were doing, and I kept getting updates, and I was like, this might actually come together
right.
for them. And I just got more and more excited about it. So the moment it came together and I started working with them, um, I mean, it's been great.
Yeah,
It's been a breath of fresh air in terms of comics. And I said this in San Diego, and I think people don't believe me, but the truth of the matter is I was done with comics. I was
really.
so the last couple of years have been so brutal
Yeah,
in the comics world.
right.
And as far as I was concerned, I was done professionally
Yeah,
in comics. But yeah, Ignition kind of reignited that and showed me that things were, could be better and could be different. And I'm excited again about doing comics.
that's good. That's good. I like hearing that, and that was one thing that he brought up, that was kind of the point of this group is to make it to where you were doing the things that, should be done in comics,
Right.
changing the things that were wrong in other places. And so that because I mean the amount of names that I've seen brought on already for this, is pretty impressive. So I mean, obviously they're doing something right.
Yeah, they've got a great. I mean, and I don't even think I've seen all the names that are on the slate, but they've got a really impressive slate of creators.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
got some really cool books in the works, and uh, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for them. I'm I desperately hope that uh, comic shops and retail, and readers. Uh, I really want them to give Ignition a chance because I think they're doing some just they've just got so many cool things planned.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and one thing you brought up about comic shops, something that I've noticed. So just to order new comics, I had to go way outside of my area, and I'm in a pretty big area here. I'm in Northwest Arkansas.
Hmm.
It's, we've got Rogers and Bentonville, which are two really big cities. We've got
Right.
three of Fortune 500 company home offices just in this area. So you would think, so I call it places like Vintage Stock, and they're like, no, we don't do new comics anymore,
Oh, I didn't even know that about vintage
Yeah.
stock.
Yeah,
Good.
I found that out just because I was trying to get a hold of Murder Podcast, the first couple episodes that are or first couple issues that are coming out of that. And no, they all the ones that I called around here I couldn't find. So I ended up going to another company. My wife actually found them, and they're going to ship them to me. So that was kind of cool. But it's weird how much even with that comics are changing. You're not finding a lot of these little shops that are carrying the newer stuff anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's look, the retailers have to make their living in whatever way is right for them and
Right,
is right for their clientele.
right.
Uh, but yeah, it's a little troubling if that you're right. I've noticed that there are a lot of shops um that just carry like older comics.
Yep. Yep.
At the same time, I was talking to someone just the other day who's starting a new comic shop in a couple of months. They've been putting the work in, and they're starting a new comic shop in a couple of months. That's going to be, you
Yeah.
know, all new. They're going to carry the new stuff.
Oh,
I
that'd
don't
be
even
cool.
know that they're going to carry it as far as back issues. I don't think they're going to focus on that so much as the
Oh,
current stuff.
wow.
So I mean, it's an ever changing sort of
Yeah.
landscape.
Right.
And it's just we're all in the end of the day, I hope we're all working towards changing it to a better landscape and a more successful and lucrative landscape for everybody involved.
Right. Right. So San Diego Comic-Con. I know that whenever I reached out to you and said that I wanted to bring you back on the show, you said you wanted to wait till it was over before you
Yeah.
came on the show and everything. So,
Right.
how was it? I've had a couple people on here who were there, and so far everybody had really good things to say about it.
No, I had a great time. Uh, I haven't been, I used to go quite frequently. I haven't been since COVID and lockdown and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Um, so it was a little different getting back to it.
Right.
But I had a great time. Ignition Press had their own little the Ignition Press room, which was
Yeah.
away from the main convention center.
Right.
I avoided the main convention center like the plague. As much as I could,
Yeah.
I did not spend any time in the convention center.
Okay.
Uh, I think I was there. I think I was there maybe a couple of hours at most, and
Yeah.
then the rest of the time I was not there.
Yeah.
I was at the Ignition Press room or doing just enjoying San Diego.
Yeah.
Um, but no, it was a great time. It was nice to see so many people that are still excited about everything because it was packed,
Right.
and it was nice to see all these different creators, many of whom I haven't seen in years and years. It was a it was a blast. San Diego is one of those conventions that can make you feel very insignificant and very small.
Yeah.
It's the kind of convention that you might be riding cloud nine one day and then it slaps you down real quick to remind you your place your place on the food chain.
Yeah.
Um, but but that's all part of it, you know.
Right.
It was I'm glad I went. I'm looking forward to going again next year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
and the only like and that's not, that's not a joke. I had a couple of signings on the floor
hmm
at the convention, and I went to the signing and then immediately left. The only stop I made, I had one friend who asked me to pick something up, which whenever you go to San Diego Comic-Con, you always have friends who say, "Hey, pick me up this exclusive
right.
item,"
Yeah.
like it's something you can get off the shelf at Walmart,
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of, you have to do a lottery to stand in a line to get another lottery ticket to, whatever.
Yeah.
And the lines get closed constantly. So as I was walking over there just to look for this friend of mine who wanted this thing, and I see the line is capped, I'm like, well, nothing I can do. I got to go. I had something else, somewhere else to be.
Yeah.
I turned and there was Sam Jones, who played Flash Gordon in the 1981 Flash Gordon movie. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm not going to spend any money on anything else at this convention. I might as well go meet Sam Jones and talk to him for a little bit.
That's cool.
So that's the only thing I did. I got some Sam Jones pictures and some autographs. I just recently I just recently bought like an original Flash Gordon pinball machine.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get some stuff to put around the pinball machine or put near it.
That's really cool. Well, I mean, you got to decorate the area. I feel
Right.
that you got to make sure that it's got the accent pieces and stuff. And what better way to have it than some stuff from actually Sam
Yeah.
Jones? So that's really cool. So,
Yeah.
um, there was a lot, I think, that was going on. I know you've done some work with Boom Studios, and I had one of the guys from the Legacy of Nerd on the podcast like the week after. I think he had just got back a few days before when I talked to him, and they were talking about um, Amy Jo Johnson was there talking
Mhm.
about doing some Power Ranger stuff and everything, and which kind of
I got to talk to her briefly during San Diego.
did you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, because I know you did Power Rangers versus Godzilla.
I did. I
Yeah,
did not mention that to her.
you did not. Okay.
No, no. I just felt like it wasn't the right, if when I say briefly, I mean very briefly. We talked at an
Yeah,
event, and if the conversation had gone longer, maybe I would have said, "Hey, you know what I did?"
yeah.
But no, I didn't. I didn't even bring it up.
So, do you know her out like before this, or was that like the first
No,
time you met
I
her?
just I was at an event and I saw her come in and I was like, I think that might be Amy Jo Johnson. I'm gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
go say hello. So I just just walked up and said hi,
Right.
and it was just real, it was pleasantries, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
pleasantries.
Yeah.
Um, but
Well, I know she's
yeah,
been
no,
very vocal
I
about wanting to write and do more Power Ranger stuff.
didn't she write some Power Ranger stuff already?
She's
Yeah.
done a little bit, but whenever the show ended, she even put out there online, she was like, "Hey, instead of ending it, like give me a shot at it," because I remember like reposting that, and she's still very passionate about doing Power Rangers. I mean, so I did want to ask you because last time I had you on the show, we didn't actually get to talk about the whole Godzilla Power Rangers.
Hmm.
What was your were you a power? I know you're a little older than I am, so you probably
Hey,
didn't
hey,
watch.
hey.
Not by much, not by much. So, but uh, you didn't probably grow up watching Power Rangers, did you?
No, I was too old to watch Power Rangers. But that said, the day it premiered in America on that Saturday, I was sitting right in front of the television watching it. And I remember very
Really?
clearly
Okay.
because I had just moved into an apartment, my first apartment. Well, my first apartment where I was living by myself. I'd lived by myself in a house or two, but
Yeah.
they weren't, that was very short-lived type thing. My
Right.
first like apartment in this new town. I didn't even have furniture. I was sitting on a mattress on the floor
Oh
in my
wow.
living room. The TV was sitting on the floor in front of me, and I watched that. I watched like the first
Yeah.
episode of Power Rangers because I always loved, I love kaiju and monsters and all that stuff.
Right.
And I was an Ultraman fan growing up, so I was
Yeah.
into the concept. But I was not the target audience for Power
Right.
Rangers.
Right.
But I watched a couple of them back then.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the target audience now, but I've watched, most of them. So,
Right.
but I grew up with the original set, and as you can tell, a lot of what's behind me is Power Rangers. I mean, I've even got Lord Zed's head back here and everything behind me, and I've got the dragon dagger and all that fun stuff. So, when it came to researching for the comic itself, did you just dive right into watching the show, or did you do more? Because I know
Yeah.
there's comic books and stuff as well.
Yeah, I only watched the show
Only watch the
to
show. Okay.
to research for Power Rangers because um what I was going to do with the Godzilla Power Rangers, I knew there'd been lots of comic stuff that had come out at that point, but
Yeah.
I wanted the canon of the show and the feel of the show to be what I was doing with Godzilla versus Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Just like I had a very specific sort of era of Godzilla, I wanted the Godzilla in mind to kind of represent.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I just watched just a ton of the show.
Yeah.
Um, I don't even know how many episodes, but a lot of episodes. Especially and first I watched a bunch and then I started thinking, well, now I'm going to look up monsters from Power Rangers.
Hmm.
Um, because the original idea for Godzilla versus Power Rangers wasn't going to have they didn't want any of the Power Ranger monsters. And
Okay.
I was like, that's crazy. There's
Right.
so many ridiculous creatures. Let's put them in there.
Right.
And so then I looked up like long lists of monsters, and I'd say, oh, I like the way that guy looks.
Yeah.
And so I'd go and watch the episode associated with that character because
Right.
they all had, let's face it, all the Power Ranger monsters kind of have the same voice. They all
Hmm.
kind they all kind of have the same personality,
Right.
but I still wanted to kind of get that to try to catch that vibe
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought it was just cool because it was such a difference between the Godzilla monsters who don't have personalities, or they have personalities, but they don't talk and they don't crack jokes
Yeah.
and they don't have one-liners.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, I thought that was fun to play those sort of approaches to the monsters against each other.
Yeah, yeah. I love how over the years, how many different things they have done with Godzilla. You've got, Godzilla goes to hell. You've got, Godzilla versus the Power Rangers, They've done so many different things with him, and it's such a universal character, a universal thing that you can do a lot of really cool stuff with.
Mhm. Yeah, and especially because, they've never been shy about rebooting the Godzilla universe, so it always
Right.
just fits. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay that these are all just sort of, changes or different approaches to Godzilla. That's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you kept up with the newer movies and stuff from Godzilla?
Yeah, yeah, I think I've watched everything.
Okay.
I can't imagine there's a Godzilla I haven't watched at this point. So,
I actually ran across the DVD not too long ago, and it had it's not Godzilla, but it was King Kong, and it was just the commercial for it just still cracks me up because they'd have like a little scene, and then all of a sudden it King Kong, on the screen, and then it would go a little bit longer, and King Kong, the way that they just those movies, they were so much fun to watch, even now going back and watching them, they're terrible looking a lot of times.
I don't think they are. I think,
Really?
look, there's something about the look of them that just appeals to me.
Yeah.
Uh, the color of them, there's just uh something about it just is comforting to me, and and it's a nostalgia thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. So, when you are trying to write a new story, what do you do to find inspiration? Is there like a method that you go through for finding inspiration? I know that when I had you on before, you talked about how seeing a tarp blow in a barbed wire fence,
That was
helped
the
to
imprint. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
helped inspire that story and stuff. Is this just like is that usually how it happens for you? Is just out of the blue?
Yeah, a lot of times I try to write, but that said, I try to come up with one new idea every day.
Okay.
I write them on index cards. You
Uh-huh.
can force it.
Yeah.
It's not a magic formula. And a lot of people are like, well, how do you come up with ideas? Well, you just do.
Yeah.
You just come up with ideas. So I try to come up with an idea a day that I write on an index card, and or I type on my iPad notes or whatever.
Right.
Um, and a lot of the 90% of them are terrible ideas, just awful ideas. But it's just the act of trying to come up with ideas. It gets your mind in that. If you really practice it, it gets your mind in
Okay.
that space.
Okay.
And then, if I'm trying to, like, say I have a publisher who says, hey, send us some ideas for a new story. I'll go and I'll sit somewhere and I'll just say I'm going to come up with 10 ideas, and then I just work until I have 10 ideas.
Wow.
And there may be a paragraph, two paragraphs, three paragraphs long.
Right.
So they're short. It's not like I'm writing up long, documents. I'm writing up two or three paragraphs maybe.
Yeah.
And you can, once you get in that mindset, um, the ideas come pretty easily.
Right.
And yeah, it could be things I see, could be things I hear about. Like, I was sitting somewhere coming up with ideas one night, and this guy was sitting down the bar from me, and he was talking about how they went to an after party. They went to a party and then they went to an after party. And sure enough, I wrote an idea that I sent off to my publishers. Like, this is about an after party gone really wrong, and I just,
Yeah.
and I just write about that. Just
Yeah.
so you just got to be open to what's going on around you, and just don't be afraid to be dumb. I think
Yeah.
too many people are too afraid uh, to be a little dumb,
Yeah.
and that's how I've made it. I've made a career out of being not just a little dumb, but real dumb. So it's
You've had some genius ideas in there, so I
well,
mean,
most of them started stupid. So
well, when you're able to not take yourself so serious all the time, I think that opens up a whole new world to you because then it's not that you don't care, it's just that you open up another side to you
Yeah.
to say like you said, you don't have to take yourself seriously all the time.
Well,
You know,
a
there are
lot of
moments where you are, but other moments you don't have to be.
a lot of creators or would-be creators will sit down and they say, I've got to come up with the best idea.
Yeah.
I've got to come out with the one thing that this publisher can't resist.
Yeah.
And they try to come up with the perfect pitch.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that every time I send like 6, 10 ideas to a publisher,
Yeah.
and I've got like 8 that I think are the perfect idea for this publisher, and 2 that are just like stupid filler ideas, I think.
Yeah.
It's always the filler ideas that they go for every time. I mean,
Uh,
it without fail.
yeah.
Um, and then, the fun of that is you take the filler idea and you turn it into something real and something with some meat on the bones. And there's the challenge and there's the fun. But I think if you get too hung up on this idea of I got to make the perfect idea, oh,
Hmm.
I'm going to make a comic pitch that is absolutely going to sell as a movie.
Yeah.
You're done. Check
Yeah.
out now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that's you need to just kind of let it flow a little bit. The ideas will be better and more interesting, and you'll have a ton of dumb ideas, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you return to one of those dumb ideas years later,
Hmm.
and you realize, oh, I can turn this into something kind of interesting.
Right. Right. Did you ever watch Smallville?
I did.
Okay. So there was actually a guy I had on here recently. He's a new friend of the show. His name is Colin Bass, and he does a lot of stuff with Anime Fire and all of that out in. He actually did the after parties and stuff for San Diego Comic Con. So, anyways, he had this thing that he brought up on the show, and it goes along with what you said. And they had one storyline that they said that they would never do, but they knew they had to at least do better than that. And it was they had a storyline where they were going to say that Lionel Luthor grew wings, and they're like, we can always do something better than that, you know. And so that was always the goal, is to not have that storyline happen. And
Well,
so I mean, it's a kind of a funny way to work
did he
around, you
ever grow
know.
wings on the show though? Because now I'm disappointed.
He
I
he didn't, no.
feel like that would have been pretty awesome to see that dude with some wings.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
I
don't
would
think they ever did that one. So,
I'd have been okay with that. So look,
oh,
I was just looking at solicits for DC Comics, and they've got Superman with bat wings on one of the upcoming issues of Superman. So
really?
look, if you can, if Superman can have wings, why not Lionel Luthor?
Yeah, I'm with you there on that. Did another show that so this has become my favorite. This is my comfort show, and because I know you're a horror guy. Do you watch Supernatural? Did you watch Supernatural?
So I did up to a point,
Okay,
and then I fell off. Like, and I mean, like, what? I don't know how many seasons that show ran, but I must have watched uh 10, 8, 9, 10 seasons of it, and I
okay,
fell off for whatever reason.
yeah.
And then I thought, well, I've forgotten everything, so how do I jump back in easily? So I did start rewatching it from the beginning, but that's a long haul.
It is. The first 5 seasons are, in my opinion, perfection. I love Eric Kripke's original story because season 5 was supposed to be the original last season of that show. I love the other stuff. I'm rewatching it right. I'm always in a constant state of rewatching Supernatural,
Sure.
and I think right now I'm on like season 13, the one where, well, you haven't watched all of it, so
Yeah, I was saying at some
yeah,
point I've definitely fallen.
right,
I definitely dropped off and have tried to get back to it to watch it again.
yeah,
But I felt like I needed to do a rewatch first, and
yeah.
that's just taking forever.
Yeah. Well, I told my wife this the other day. I think because of that show, that's the reason why most horror movies don't bother me, you know, is because of watching that, you know. It just kind of I was watching a horror movie every week, you know, in just like an episodic form. And so it really it's always going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, I always enjoyed it.
So I see you got a drink there with you and everything. What is your favorite mixed drink?
Well, this drink is just Diet Coke.
Just Diet Coke. All right.
Because I'm working really,
Yeah.
I'm a little late tonight. Um, if I'm gonna do a favorite mixed drink right now, I'm an old fashioned guy, so I
Okay.
like a good old fashioned.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I know
it,
you do that with fans and stuff. You have had like meeting places and stuff around the area where you've went and had like a a drink with, you know, fans, right?
well, I do every month I do what we call whiskey and words,
Yeah,
where
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, where a group of people gather. It's open to whoever shows up.
Yeah.
And we, I give writing prompts, and we, if you're a drinker, you can have a cocktail or have
Yeah.
soda or whatever you want. But yeah,
Yeah.
we do writing prompts and and yeah, drink. We do writing prompts at a bar. You don't have to drink when you're there,
Right.
but
Yeah.
if you want to, why not?
Yeah. Well, I know you do the writing prompts and stuff on the on your newsletter that you send out and everything. Is that along the same lines, or is
Yeah.
so people know what will be
Yeah,
next?
it's I just we just give five or six of the, more often than not, they're really dumb writing prompts, but
Yeah.
and then people just have fun writing, short little stories about them. And if you want to share them with everybody, you can share them with everybody and read them. And if you don't, you keep them to yourself and, I don't know, take them home and maybe turn them into something substantial.
Yeah. Yeah. Your Discord page is probably there's so much going on there. You've got so many people on there talking. You've got some really amazing things happening on that Discord page. Um, it's kind of one to pattern after. I love how you've given this space for people to communicate and to give, ideas for things that they want to do, and you're talking with your fans directly through that as well.
Yeah, I sometimes I get busy and I forget about it for a little bit. My intent with it was always to create sort of an online convention setting.
Yeah,
You know, years and years and years ago, when I was first breaking in or trying to break in, there were message boards, and that's how you communicated with other creators and
right.
fans and everything else. And I loved it. Um, and message boards aren't really a thing anymore, but I thought, or I mean, I'm sure they are, but I don't imagine anyone wants to hear that.
Somewhere, yeah.
Uh, so I thought I'll create this Discord and do the same thing there and try to create like this ongoing, always open convention where people can just talk about things they like. Sure, I'm
Yeah,
going to talk about my work a lot, but
yeah,
people can talk about things they're working on or what they're excited about, and yeah, it's something that I really want, and continue to want to build membership. I want more people to come on and join it and participate, because it's the more people who are involved in it, the more fun it becomes.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, you've got pages on there for just about everything you could think of too. I whenever I joined, I was blown away because I mean, you've even got it for the podcast that you do with your wife, and which brings me to my next question: Are we going to see some new episodes here soon on that?
I hope so. We've got a lot going on right now, but
Right.
when we were in San Diego, we talked about probably returning to it. We got to get through uh, pass through a few hurdles, and then we can focus on it the way we want to.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, sometimes it just does not work out, I mean, you've got to make time for stuff, but like we said earlier, life gets in the way sometimes, so you've got
Yeah,
to
yeah, it's something we want to do. It's just been a constant barrage of weirdness and
yeah.
issues one after the other. So we've kind of fallen off of it. But yeah, it is something we want to return to.
Yeah. Uh, I just got a couple more things that I want to talk to you
Sure.
about and everything, and then we'll get you right off of here. But Deluge is a comic that we found out that you're going to be doing with Ignition Press. Um, do you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, Deluge is a survival horror story. It is set in a women's prison that is built on a floodplain.
Oh, okay.
And The prison floods during a flash flood. The prison begins to flood, and they have to evacuate the inmates as the waters are slowly rising. They were unprepared for this flood. They're not ready for it. They're trying to get people out the safest and fastest way possible as the waters are rising in the prison.
Hmm.
As the prisoners are trying, the inmates and the guards are trying to get out, uh, the floodwaters wash something up with them.
Okay.
Something awful comes up with the waters, and then it becomes a real nightmarish free for all for these characters.
Yeah. It sounds like a awesome story, and I can't wait to see that come out. And you've got some other projects that are coming up. Is there anything that you want to talk about that's coming up?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I guess comic wise, I'm doing a bunch of new comics, but they're all unannounced for the most part.
Okay.
So I would say just keep an eye out because there are a bunch of cool new things coming out
Yeah.
that I'm really excited for. Um, and then I have my first full length prose horror novel
Oh,
coming out in November. It's called uh, Bones of Our Stars, Blood of Our World,
nice.
and it comes out I think November 11th. You can get it. You can order it right now on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Any bookstore can pre-order it for you.
Yeah.
It's coming out from Gallery Books, and it's one of those books that I definitely don't want to say too much about.
Right.
The setup is it's set in this island community on the Outer Banks, and a masked killer is butchering people. And the characters, the heroes of the story, are banding together or trying to figure out who this masked killer is. And then things get exponentially uh, more terrifying and awful for them. So yeah, that comes out in November. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's a lot. It's a fun book.
Hmm.
It's definitely a crazy and bonkers kind of horror story, and goes into places that I think no one will be expecting when they start reading this thing. Which is why I don't say a lot about it. I try to keep it. It's one of those things because it's tough
Right.
to market a book like that, except to say you don't know where this thing's going. I promise. And and it gets into some really interesting territory, I think.
Awesome. Awesome. And if people want to follow everything that you're doing, how can they do that?
Well, I mean, the easiest way, you can obviously go to my website, cullenbunn.com. That has links to my newsletter, to the Discord, to my Patreon. It has links to everything. So from that spot you can get to everything else
Yeah.
very easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I'd say. Go there. If you subscribe to the newsletter, you're gonna get pretty great updates on everything that I'm doing. You'll know exactly what's coming up and what's going on. You'll probably know far more about me than you really want to, but that's all right too.
That's all right, man. This has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this. I have something that I do now because I don't do a closer to my show anymore. So
Just keep it
now
open. It just goes forever.
that's right. Yeah. So I actually put this off on my guest now, and I started doing this last week. So you have to suffer through this with me, and I do apologize, but I
All
do
right.
since this is if you give a dad a podcast, I tell a dad joke of the week. So I'm going to
Oh
give
boy.
you my dad joke of the week.
All right, let's hear it.
What fruit likes to go down slides?
I don't know what fruit does like to go down slides.
A kiwi.
Oof.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep. Yep. All right.
All
I will
right.
talk to you for a few more minutes after we end this recording. Thank you again for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.